Welcome to the graveyard of luxury SUVs. Imagine this. Could you be chasing luxury and comfort without seeing the financial nightmare hiding in the maintenance costs? Could you be sinking tens of thousands into a luxury SUV without any long-term reliability to back it up? Are you buying a luxury SUV without knowing it depreciates faster than almost any other vehicle class? Stick around because we are going to unveil which luxury SUVs that no one wants to buy. Let's dive in. Number 10. Cadillac SRX. When Cadillac decided to enter the luxury SUV market, they thought they could compete with the likes of BMW and Mercedes by creating something bold and different. What they delivered was a vehicle that looked like it was designed by committee, with angular styling that aged poorly, and an interior that felt more like a rental car than luxury vehicle. The SRX suffered from a multitude of issues that made buyers run in the opposite direction. The North Star V8 engine, while powerful on paper, was notorious for head gasket failures that could cost more than the vehicle's worth to repair. The transmission has a tendency to fail prematurely, and the electrical system seems to have been designed by someone who has never heard of reliability testing. Add to this a ride quality that was neither comfortable nor sporty, and you had a recipe for disaster. But perhaps the most damning aspect of the early SRX was its depreciation rate. These vehicles lost value faster than ice melts in summer, making them financially toxic for anyone foolish enough to buy one new. Even today, used SRX models from this era can be found for pennies on the dollar, and there's a good reason why. They are more likely to be found in junk yards than driveways. Number 9. Lincoln Navigator. A vehicle that perfectly exemplifies everything wrong with American luxury during that era. While the Navigator had initially been successful in the late 1990s, Ford's attempts to update it resulted in a bloated, unreliable mess that drove customers straight into the arms of Escalade dealers. The Navigator's problems were legendary among luxury SUV owners. The air suspension system was so unreliable that many owners simply gave up and converted to conventional springs. The electrical system was a nightmare of intermittent failures, with everything from power seats to climate control randomly deciding to stop working. The interior was spacious, with cheap plastics and materials that looked expensive from a distance but fell apart under scrutiny. Perhaps most frustrating was the Navigator's fuel economy, which was abysmal even by large SUV standards. Owners reported single-digit fuel economy in city driving, making every trip to the gas station a painful reminder of their poor purchasing decision. The combination of unreliability, poor build quality, and astronomical operating costs made the Navigator a vehicle that even loyal Lincoln customers couldn't stomach. Number 8. BMW X6. A vehicle that perfectly embodies the phrase solution in search of a problem. When BMW decided to create a coupe version of the X5 SUV, they somehow managed to create a vehicle that combines the worst aspects of both SUVs and coupes while delivering the benefits of neither. The X6's primary sin was its impracticality. Despite being based on the successful X5 platform, the X6 sloped roofline made the rear seats nearly unusable for adults and severely compromised cargo space. This meant buyers were paying a premium for a vehicle that was worse at being an SUV than its cheaper sibling, while also being worse at being a coupe than virtually any actual coupe on the market. But impracticality wasn't the X6's only problem. The vehicle suffered from numerous reliability issues, particularly with its complex all-wheel drive system and electronic components. The iDrive system was notoriously confusing and prone to failures, while the air suspension system required expensive maintenance that many owners weren't prepared for. Add to this the fact that the X6 looked like a design mistake to most observers, and you had a vehicle that even BMW enthusiasts struggled to defend. Number 7. Mercedes ML Class. A vehicle that single-handedly damaged Mercedes-Benz's reputation for quality and reliability. When Mercedes decided to enter the SUV market in the late 1990s, they chose to build their first SUV in Alabama rather than Germany, and the results were catastrophic. The early ML class was plagued with quality control issues that would have been embarrassing for a budget brand, let alone Mercedes-Benz. Paint quality was inconsistent, panel gaps were uneven, and interior materials felt cheap and flimsy, but these cosmetic issues paled in comparison to the mechanical problems that plagued these vehicles. The ML's electrical system was a particular source of frustration, with random failures affecting everything from power windows to the engine management system. The transmission was prone to premature failure, and the air suspension system required constant attention and expensive repairs. Perhaps most damaging to Mercedes' reputation was the fact that these problems weren't isolated incidents, they were systematic issues that affected nearly every ML produced during this period. Number 6. Infiniti QX80. A vehicle that proves that bigger isn't always better in the luxury SUV segment. Infiniti's attempt to create a flagship SUV resulted in a vehicle that was imposing in size but lacking in virtually every other area that matters to luxury buyers. The QX80's most obvious problem is its styling, which managed to be both bland and offensive at the same time. The massive grille and artwork proportions make it look more like a commercial vehicle than a luxury SUV, while the interior design feels dated and uninspired. But ugly styling could be forgiven if the vehicle excels in other areas. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The QX80's reliability record is spotty at best, with owners reporting issues with the CVT transmission, electrical systems, and various engine components. The fuel economy is abysmal, even by large SUV standards, and the driving experience is uninspiring despite the vehicle's powerful V8 engine. Perhaps most damaging is the QX80's poor resale value, which makes it a financial disaster for anyone who buys one new. Number 5. Range Rover Evoque. The Range Rover Evoque was supposed to be Land Rover's answer to the compact luxury SUV market, but the first generation model from 2011 to 2018 has become a cautionary tale. While it initially attracted buyers with its distinctive coupe-like styling and premium interior, the Evoque quickly developed a reputation for catastrophic reliability issues. The main culprit is the notoriously unreliable 9-speed automatic transmission that suffers from harsh shifting, complete failure, and premature wear. Owners report transmission replacements costing upwards of $15,000, often occurring before the vehicle reaches 60,000 miles. The turbo 4-cylinder engine also proves problematic, with issues ranging from timing chain failures to complete engine seizures. Interior quality, despite the premium price point, is surprisingly poor, with cheap plastics that crack and fade, electronic systems that malfunction regularly, and seats that wear prematurely. The infotainment system becomes sluggish and unresponsive, often requiring complete replacement rather than simple software updates. Maintenance costs are astronomical even for basic services. A simple oil change can cost over $200 at the dealership, while more complex repairs often exceed the vehicle's depreciated value. Insurance companies frequently total these vehicles after minor accidents due to the high cost of replacement parts and labor. The resale value has plummeted so dramatically that 3 to 4-year-old Evoques can be found for less than half their original MSRP. And even at those reduced prices, they struggle to find buyers who understand the ongoing ownership costs. Number 4. Acura MDX, a vehicle that Honda's luxury division hopes will establish them as a serious player in the luxury SUV market. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about the dangers of bad engineering and cost-cutting in the luxury segment. The early MDX suffered from an identity crisis. It wasn't sure if it wanted to be a practical family hauler or a luxury vehicle, and it ended up being neither. The interior materials felt cheap compared to German competitors, and the styling was conservative to the point of being boring. But these issues might have been overlooked if the vehicle had been reliable. Unfortunately, the MDX was plagued with transmission problems that became legendary among Honda owners. The automatic transmission would fail prematurely, often requiring complete replacement at costs that approached the vehicle's value. The problem was so widespread that Honda eventually extended warranties and offered settlement programs, but the damage to the MDX reputation was already done. Number 3. Volvo XC90, a vehicle that shows great promise but delivered crushing disappointment to owners who expected Swedish reliability. When Volvo entered the luxury SUV market, they brought with them a reputation for safety and durability that had been built over decades of solid sedan and wagon production. The XC90's problems were numerous and expensive. The electrical system was plagued with issues, particularly the infamous Bluetooth connectivity problems that left owners unable to use basic features. The air suspension system was unreliable and expensive to maintain, while the engine suffers from various issues including oil leaks and cooling system failures. But perhaps the most damaging aspect of XC90 ownership was the cost of repairs. Volvo parts were expensive and often difficult to find, making even minor repairs costly endeavors. The combination of frequent breakdowns and high repair costs made the XC90 a vehicle that even safety-conscious buyers eventually abandoned in favor of more reliable alternatives. Number 2. Jaguar E-Pace. The Jaguar E-Pace is one of the most problematic compact luxury SUVs on the market. Despite its stylish looks, it suffers from severe engine and transmission issues like time chain failures and gear engagement problems. Often before 50,000 miles, the interior is riddled with cheap materials, unreliable electronics, and a lacking infotainment system. Frequent failures in the air conditioning, parking brake, and cooling system leads to high repair costs. Parts delays and a limited dealer network add to the frustration, with resale values collapsing to below 30% of MSRP. Even bargain hunters are steering clear of this luxury misfire. Number 1. BMW X3, a vehicle that managed to damage BMW's reputation for driving dynamics while simultaneously failing to deliver the luxury experience the buyers expected. When BMW decided to enter the compact luxury SUV market, they somehow created a vehicle that combined harsh ride quality with unreliable mechanicals. The early X3 was notorious for its brutal ride quality, which managed to be both harsh and wallowy at the same time. The steering was vague and disconnected, making it feel nothing like the sporty BMWs that buyers expected. The interior was cramped and filled with cheap materials that felt more appropriate for a budget vehicle than a luxury SUV. But the X3's most damaging characteristic was its reliability record. These vehicles were plagued with electrical problems, cooling system failures, and various engine issues that left owners with substantial repair bills. The combination of poor driving dynamics, subpar luxury appointments, and questionable reliability made the early X3 a vehicle that even BMW loyalists struggled to defend. After introducing these luxury SUVs no one wants to buy, which one surprised you the most? Comment below and share the reason why.